Indian Constitution. Whenever we hear the word Constitution of India, one thing that comes in our mind is the Constitution of India is very lengthy, it's very tough, its language is very tough. Sometimes it is said that the Constitution of India is made by the lawyer for the lawyers. Yes, it can be right, but let's make it simple to understand it in a better way. So let's start our journey. Let's start to study the Constitution of India in a simple way. Let's make it more easy to understand. To understand its articles, its part, its schedules, and also it is very important for each and every person, each and every citizen of the country to know about their constitution, in which they have many rights, many duties to perform. So let's begin our journey. Yes, let's start with its very first part. First part of Indian Constitution, that is the Union and its territory. Currently, we have 28 states and 8 UTs. So, therefore, let's start with the very first article of the Indian Constitution, name and the territory of the Union. Article 1, Clause 1 directly states that India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. So it is directly mentioned in the Constitution, in the Article 1st of the Indian Constitution, India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. It is right. But there are two questions can be raised. India, that is Bharat, two names for a nation. The second one, is India really a union of states? Let's discuss about both the questions. Let's discuss India, that is Bharat. In the meeting of Constituent Assembly, some persons wanted our country's name as India. They put the name India for our country's name, which should be mentioned in our constitution. But a few persons, a few members of the Constituent Assembly was opposing it. They were supporting Bharat because they were like, it is our ancient team. It shows our ancient culture, the Bharatvarsa. So after a very long discussion, it was accepted that India, our country, should have two names, India and Bharat, which represents our ancient culture as well as the modern one. The second thing, is India really a union of states? The same exact question was asked to the Bhimrao Ambedkar. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar replies that yes, India is a union of states, whether it is a federal in nature, whether Indian Constitution is federal in nature, but it is a union of states, because there are several reasons. Let's talk about regions. Like first region, what is the first region? Because India is not the result of an agreement between the states. It's the very first region that India is a union of states. India is not the result of an agreement between states. Second one, no state has right to secede from India. It is meaning that no states or country can separate from India. States don't have power to be separated from our country. So let's discuss now broadly, like federal. What is federal? What do we mean by federal? What is federal? Let's take an example of USA, United States of America. United States of America was not united. Like United States of America is united through an agreement between the states. The states of United United States American states were fighting along with no sorry were fighting individually in the US Revolution, but there's a catch. Like after the independence, they decided to unite and make a country in which center have more powers and the state will have powers. They have their independency, they have their own laws, they have their own citizenship, they have their own constitution. But center will look after the very broad subjects like international relation, like defense. So US is a federation, US is a federal, but in India no state has right to secede from India, and it is not an agreement between the states. Therefore, both of the question were resolved like we discussed about them. So another thing, Article 1 Clause 2, the states and territories thereof shall be specified in the first schedule. First schedule, what is schedule? The question arises, what is schedule? Schedule is an explanatory memorandum of an article. We have many articles, like 395 articles, but schedule, what is schedule? Schedule is an explanatory memorandum, like there is summary, you can say in a brief way, a part in a brief way in a schedule. So first schedule, details will later on. We will discuss about schedule in a later separate time. So third thing, Article 1 Clause 3 said that the territory of India shall comprise, the territory of India shall comprise of three things. A, the territories of the states like Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Bihar, Jharkhand. And the second, union territory is specified in the first schedule. Schedule, it is later on. And third, such other territories as may be acquired. Whenever India will acquire any territory, it will automatically become the territory of India. Like, let's talk about an example of this. The territories of the states. Okay, let's such a territory as may be acquired. So let's talk about Pondicherry, an example. Pondicherry, French settlement of Pondicherry, ceded to India, like it is given to India, hand over to India by the French government in 1954. India acquired it and it became the state. It became a territory of India. It is administered as an acquired territory until 1962. In 1962 it became the states, but until 1962, from the 1954, it was administered as an acquired territory. So it's a good example of Article 1 and 3, 1 of 3 or C. Article 2. Let's talk about Article 2 of Indian Constitution. Article 2 states that admission or establishment of new states. In Article 2, we will know how a new state is established or administered to our nation. First thing, the very first thing we should know, Parliament may by law. Who has the power? Parliament may by law. Parliament may by law admit into the Union or establish new states on such terms and conditions as it thinks fit. First question that came from here, Parliament. Only the Parliament have the power to establish or admit a new state into the Union by law on such terms and conditions as it thinks fit. Let's take an example of Sikkim. Sikkim was a hereditary monarch under Chogyal dynasty. It was in 1973 there was a revolt in Sikkim. Till that Sikkim was as a protectorate state. We were protecting Sikkim. In 1973, revolt happened. So the result of the revolt was election in Sikkim. Election happened, and the government established. Then an act passed in Sikkim. The government of Sikkim Act 1974. Chogyal dynasty, Chogyal turned into a normal constitutional head. Chogyal dynasty के जो ruler थे, Chogyal dynasty ruler were a normal constitutional head, like our president. They were not ruling the country. They were just a head, normal constitutional head. After that, in 35 amendment of constitution, in Indian constitution in 1974, Sikkim became the associate state of Article 2A. So many leaders, opposition raised a question. There is not a single term like associate state in our Indian constitution. So how come the government nominate Sikkim as an associate state? So according to them, Article 2 is invalid. But in the same year, 36th amendment of Indian constitution, Article 2A was abolished and Sikkim became the free state in India, under India. So it is a summary of Article 2. Now let's talk about Article 3. 1 minute. Article 3. Yes. Article 3. Formation of new states. In Article 3, we will talk about the formation of new states. How a new state is formed. The first thing, how? We know in Parliament. Parliament has the power to admit or establish a new state. So, we know the Parliament, but how? In a simple majority. What is simple majority? Majority, we will talk about many types of majorities, but let's talk about simple majority. What is simple majority? Simple majority is the members present and voting, 50% of the members present and voting in the Parliament. Like there are 500 members in the Parliament, in Lok Sabha, and 400 members are present. Out of 400, 300 members voted. So 151 will be the simple majority, like 50% of the present and voting. So it is clear the simple majority is 50% of present and voting. Let's get back to the Article 3. Parliament may by law. Parliament may by law form a new state by separation of territory from any state or by uniting two or more states or parts of states or uniting any territory to a part of any state. Like form a new state like Telangana, Uttarakhand, Jharkhand, many other states separated from any state. So like Jharkhand separated from the Bihar, Uttarakhand separated from Uttar Pradesh. There are a lot of examples. Or by uniting two or more states or parts of states, or uniting any territory to a part of any state. Like in our country, there are many areas in which people are demanding for a new state. People are demanding for a new state. So we will talk about later in the last term of our lecture. Second thing, increase the area of any state. Parliament may by law increase the area of any state. Maybe tomorrow night Uttar Pradesh don't have full Bundelkhand. Some part of Bundelkhand is residing. Madhya Pradesh, Parliament may by law. Government in the morning you stay you awake and you find that whole Bundelkhand is a part of Uttar Pradesh. It can happen. Maybe you mumkin hai. Diminish the area of any state. Same thing can happen. Alter the boundaries of any state. Can change the boundaries of any state. Alter the name of any state. Can change the name of any state, like Uttarakhand. Uttaranchal became Uttarakhand. Is another thing. Okay, in Article 3, there is a simple term. So one more thing, a simple term, that is consultative process. There is a process, it should be done by the parliament before changing it. Like before using the Article 3, we can say directly. Consultative process. In consultative process, the bill has been referred by the president to the legislature of that state for expressing its views. The bill should be referred to the bill should be referred to the legislature of that state by the president for expressing its views, its president's power. But there is a catch. The views of legislature is not binding to the parliament. It is totally up to the parliament whether they want it to or not. So in simple terms, just want to take your views, whether you like it or not. You like it or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Parliament has all the powers. So one thing that we can notice that in Article 3 reflects centralizing tendency of Indian Constitution. Article 3 shows that central government has more power in Indian Constitution. Now let's talk about Article 4. Article 4 of Indian Constitution. Article 4. Laws made under Article 2 and 3 to provide for amendment of first and fourth schedule are supplemental, incidental and consequential matters. Like laws made under Article 2nd and 3rd to provide for amendment. Like, look, if you are changing the territory, like you are establishing a new state, so you must have to change the schedule 1. Like a couple of years ago, there were 29 states, but now 28 states. So you have to change the first schedule. Similar in fourth schedule. What is fourth schedule? Fourth schedule, the seats in Rajya Sabha, the upper house of parliament. So seats in Rajya Sabha change as the time passes. So this will not be the laws made under Article 2 and 3 will not be the constitutional amendment, because it is supplemental. It has to be done. The first and fourth schedule has to be improvised, or like you can say, you have to amend the first and fourth schedule, but it will not be the constitutional amendment. Now let's talk about the reorganization of states after independence. In 1950, states were divided in 4 parts. Part A, Bombay, Madras, etc. Part B, Jammu Kashmir, Mysore, Hyderabad, right, princely states. Part C, Coorg, Delhi, small territories, small states you can say. Part D, Andaman and Nicobar. In 1948, June 1948, Dhar Commission was established. Dhar Commission was established or formed. Dhar Commission recommended that administrative convenience, not on linguistic lines. Dhar Commission recommended the administrative convenience. We should have states at the administrative convenience, not on linguistic lines. Because at that time, people were demanding the states on the linguistic line. But Dhar Commission ignored it. Third commission totally ignored it, totally declined the. And after that, in December 1948, the same year, December 1948, JBP committee, it also applies, it also accepted the third commission or recommendations like administrative convenience, not language. Language, according to them, language cannot be the reason behind the separate states. Then an incident happened. Potti Srimallu death. He was used to say that, sorry, he is known as Amarjeevi, immortal being. He went on hunger strike for the formation of state for Telugu people, for the Telugu speaking people. After a couple of days, he lost his life because of hunger. In October 1953, first linguistic state because of this incident was formed, that was Andhra Pradesh. In October 1953, first linguistic state was Andhra Pradesh. After that, States Reorganization Commission, Fazal Ali, H.M. Kunjru, K.M. Pamnikar, Fazal Ali headed it, presided it. In December 1953, it submitted its reports. In September 95, December 1953, it was formed, the commission was formed, but it submitted its report in September 1955. Barely accepted language as the basis of reorganization, but with a catch, like it accepted that language can be the base for the reorganization, but not the one language, one state. Because if we accept one language, one state, so Hindi speaking people will like, they have a huge territory in their state. So one language, one state can't be the reason, can't be the base for the reorganization. So they accepted the language as the base, but not one language, one state. And it recommended 14 states and 6 UTs. 14 states and 6 union territories. In 2000, everybody knows Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand and Jharkhand. In 2014, Telangana. In 2019, also Jammu and Kashmir became the union territory, and Ladakh separated from Jammu and Kashmir became the union territory. Now, some suggestions. There is a need for a second state reorganization commission. Why? Because there are several regions in our country, several regions in several states. They are demanding new states for their own territory, own region. Like some of regions are Harit Pradesh and Bundelkhand in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh in Rajasthan, Kurg in Karnataka, Vidarbha region in Maharashtra, Bodoland in Assam, Gorkhaland in West Bengal. So, we have discussed part 1 of the Indian Constitution. We will continue our process. We will continue to understand the Constitution in a simple way. So, it's the first lecture. If you like the video, if you like the teaching, if you like the way we understand the Constitution, the part 1 of the Constitution, do like, subscribe and share. Like or subscribe doesn't matter. Just share it to the people, because the people of India, the citizen of the nation, should know that their Constitution, the basic things of their Constitution. So share it if you like it. Thank you very much.